Guys, stories are really bubbling around Old Trafford and Carrington that Casemiro is going to be up for sale, and Manchester United are really considering to obviously sell the player because they might get some huge amount of money coming in from the Saudi side. Welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having a fantastic stay wherever you are. And we're here to obviously broadcast to you and bring you the latest of what we are being told coming in from the club of Manchester United. Now, the Muslims Barakallahu Fikum, it's really chilly, rainy, cold. Refer to it, anyhow you want to refer to it, but it's really cold in my country, and this is where I go ahead and we pity people that are really in countries of Europe, and USA, because winter is knocking. It's autumn and soon winter is knocking onto the door. Now let's start it off from the person who broke the story that led to all the stories that you're obviously seeing here. It was Telegraph Dhaka, known as James Dhaka, Northern football correspondent, the Daily and Sunday Telegraph. He reports he's a correspondent for Man United at the Telegraph. He told us that Casemiro's reduced mobility was becoming a worry even before he succumbed to an injury last month that is now expected to keep the 31-year-old out until later in December. For me, I never agreed with this. Why do you talk about Casemiro's mobility? Anyone has facts that can obviously back up this? It's really a lie that is being sold. It's that people come out and really don't put respect to the name of Casemiro. Casemiro's name deserves lots of respect. Now, if Man City can have Kovacic play alongside Rodri, one of the best CDMs in the world, what makes you think that Casemiro is not expected to be playing alongside an intensive and hardworking central midfielder in the pivot of Man United? So all those are lies, and they're talking about a man who obviously went ahead to put in 3 goals. Sorry, he has gone ahead to put 4 goals to his name this season before he obviously got injured. So I never believed in that crap concerning the mobility. It's not a concern at Man United. The problem is that we lack the spine of the team, and most of the players have been injured. Now, after that story, Jacobs Ben was appearing onto the Man United biggest fan channel known as United. It's called United Stand with Mark Goldbridge. He said Casemiro is a name Saudi Arabia clubs have on their list for the summer of 2024. However, due to his injury status, any move next January isn't likely. Casemiro wants to see out the season with Man United and see what happens in the summer. Al Ahly and Al Hilal are potential suitors in the Saudi Pro League. Now, if you're Eric Ten Hag, there is no way you can let out a player like Casemiro leave your team when he is obviously pivotal. Tell me how many CDMs in the world can average 6-7 goals a season. Casemiro, ever since he came in at Man United, has shown us that he can score goals and put up assists. And he went ahead to obviously put in secondary assists in very many games last season. So it is really a lie that people are obviously trying to obviously saturate around the world that United are really willing to sell the player. Now, if you sell him, who is going to be playing as a central midfielder? And these stories are being fueled by the English media. Do you know why? Because they want their players like Scott McTominay to come in through and obviously play into the midfield of Man United. And there is no way you can compare Scott McTominay with Casemiro, because Scott McTominay has been here for some good years. Since 2016, he made his debut under Jose Mourinho. Those are now close to 7 years at Man United. And what has he gone ahead to make and improve that midfield? He couldn't obviously even play that single pivot alone. He had to play it alongside Fred Rodriguez. So it's really naive of a person to come out and obviously put Casemiro into this fix. I don't see United releasing Casemiro. That is it. I don't see this happen. And if at all it ever happens, then I'll be shocked, because he is a player with experience. He's a player that has been fit throughout the entirety of last season, though this injury expected him to get an injury. Why? At the age of 30, he played lots and lots of games, and he needed the rest, and his body really needed the rest. And I think that's the problem, where That was the problem brought up by the board of Man United, because with the players like Casemiro having gone ahead to play lots and lots of games, the board of United would have gone ahead to notice that players like Amrabat would have been the first to sign to bring the club of Man United to get intact with the chemistry of the club, and then let everything flow as supposed to be, because Casemiro couldn't be one of those players to obviously start every game. You know, the same applies to the Luke Shaws, the Lisandro Martinez's, Marcus Rashford would have gone ahead to find a way of really signing in players that can obviously come in and deputize. For Rashford, Garnacho is there. If I really had brought in Kim Min-jae, there would have been no reason to obviously force Lisandro Martinez back on the field of play, you know, to play very many minutes, because they played lots of games. Even Casemiro, you saw to it that he was playing 2 games a week. So it was really, really, really hard for him not to obviously get an injury. But Saudi Pro League has some good money, and we cannot underlook that of obviously getting rid of this player. And then TalkSport have told us that Man United will consider cashing in on Casemiro. United's incoming minority owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who will lead the club's sporting department, is believed to be open to offers for the 31-year-old to help fund an Old Trafford rebuild. Can you hear such a very, 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 very naive story coming in from TalkSport, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to get out Casemiro to get money that will help fund the rebuild of Old Trafford? That is really naive, and I wonder why these people come out and obviously put out such stories, because they are really very, 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 very primitive stories, and they are coming in from a naive side of their no. Why? Sir Jim Ratcliffe has gone ahead and said he's not going to really rebuild Old Trafford. It said he's only going to do what? He's only going to renovate the stadium. Now, and for them, they're talking about a rebuild. You know, a rebuild and renovation are 2 different English words altogether. So, when you look at this statement, it shows you that they are trying to really make themselves relevant. You know, in this new era of media, you'll find your boss or editor telling you, please, can you get me a story on Casemiro? Because every person is writing about Casemiro leaving Man United and they're willing to cash in for the player. And we see what's going to happen. So they have to find a narrative, read other stories, and obviously try to fact out something special about their story, and they inject it there. Something I don't really believe in, and it's really naive that such people obviously coming out to put out such stories that are really not okay. And I don't agree with that story. It's totally insanical, you know? And they're trying to send this, because for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, these are the players who wouldn't like to leave the club of Manchester United, especially Casemiro, because we know what Casemiro gives us when he's on the field of play. And trust me, this man was tired. He needs a rest. And this 2 months rest that's going to keep him out until late December will help him obviously get his energies back. He's going to recharge his batteries, and by the time he comes back in January, he'll be a very, very prominent player in the squad of Man United. And I know why all this is happening. It's happening because the entire team of Man United is not performing very well, and that's why it's it that every person is linked to a move away from Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes is linked to Saudi Arabia. Varane is linked to Saudi Arabia. Onana is linked to leaving Man United. Who else? Anthony is linked to leaving Man United. And that's what Anton Martial. And that's what happens, by the way, when a team is not performing very well. And when a team commences to play very well, you'll see to it that all these stories will die what we call a natural death, and you will not see them appear or surface anywhere. So these are stories being moved around by the journalists, because you know we are going to the January transfer window. It's obviously near because January is now like 44 days. It's like 44 days from obviously clinching it. So that's why they are doing it. They are doing it because of that. So I want to let you know that nothing is going to happen for Casemiro. And that's why I told you that he cannot live in the January transfer window, because we don't have money. We don't have money. Even if they're offering £100 million for Casemiro, Ten Hag cannot sell him, because it's a different story getting in a player, you know, and get that player hitting the ground running. You can get the money, 100 million pounds, you spend 30 or 40 million pounds and get in another decent midfielder, but will he hit the ground running? If you tell me that in the summer they're obviously going to consider about it, I'll say yes, because for that, Erik ten Hag will be having ample time to obviously integrate that new signed midfielder into the team of Man United. But right now, I see that as something that cannot happen. January is too early for Casemiro to leave. I can give you a clear example coming in from some of the nemesis, that is Liverpool. Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia were willing to offer 200 million pounds for Mohamed Salah. Why didn't Liverpool cash in for Mohamed Salah? Didn't they want the money? They wanted the money, but they got to know that if you sell Mohamed Salah 2 days to the end of the summer transfer window, it's obviously going to be hard for you to get in a replacement. And even if you get in a very right player, whether Leroy Sen or you get in who is really talented, it doesn't really mean that that player is obviously going to hit the ground running, and they're going to sell to you that player expensively. So it's better to recruit in the summer. And I think if at all Al Hilal had come in through early enough in the summer and obviously proposed to sign Mohamed Salah with 200 million pounds, Liverpool would have gone ahead to cash in and obviously looking for a replacement. But the player is playing for Liverpool right now, having, I think, 10 goals in the Premier League, and he might even score 30 because he's having 10 goals in the Premier League in the first 12 games. How many games have we left with? We are left with 26 games. So if at all in every 13 games he can average 10 goals, that means he can score 30 a season. That is Mohamed Salah for you. So that cannot happen. Now, let me show you a little bit of what is happening at Carrington. We've been told that Sir David Brasfall has been visiting United's Carrington training complex ahead of the INEOS group's impending investment into the club. Brasford, the sporting director of INEOS, is understood to have made at least 2 trips to Carrington in recent weeks. Brasfield was driven onto the premises in a blacked out vehicle. That is Samuel Lucas, chief United reporter for the Manchester Evening News. So, INEOS is coming at Man United. Either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week. That's when the 25% minority stake acquired by Sir Jim Ratcliffe is obviously going to be announced at Man United. That's why you saw to it that today I've gone ahead to bring a story of Richard Arnold being one of those people that has gone ahead to leave Man United at first. He has gone ahead to quit Man United, and the head of the council of Man United, or the council lawyers of Man United, has gone ahead to obviously take over as an interim as United waits along on what is going to happen, whether Jan Club comes in through as the CEO of the club of Manchester United. But INEOS is doing a fantastic job at the club of Manchester United, and everything is moving on softly. So that is it coming in from INEOS, and allow me close this chapter with the story coming in from the MBE, that is Marcus Rashford, a player who delayed to obviously join the England national team camp, and here he comes to attend today. So today he has reported on the England national duty. Remember, he had some personal issues, and I think those personal issues related so much to his brother that was arrested in Florida. His brother doubles as his agent. So I think those are some of the things that Rashford was obviously trying to really sort out, but finally the MBE is with the Three Lions and getting ready for the games they're going to play before he returns to action at Old Trafford. So thank you very much for watching through. This is Rock and David, and your reactions to Casemiro considered for sale by Man United are welcome in the comment section below. Would you fancy the sale of Casemiro out of Man United in January or the summer? Come on with your reactions, and what do you make about INEOS visiting Carrington twice this week? And lastly, Rashford reporting to the national team duty after him solving his personal problems. I sign out. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David remains my name. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. See you in the next 2 hours to come from now.